Hello, welcome to another video by Indicator Vault. My name is Ronald, and in this video we're gonna go over a few different indicators and essentially what you could call the three best indicators if you were to put a title to this video. But we all know, there's no single indicator that has a corner on the market, and whatever indicator you like to use, you should always use with other confirmations and confluences. Couple that with a actual trading style and plan, and not just to rely on just one single indicator. And obviously, I'm just going to go over three indicators in this video, but there are countless on TradingView that are well worth your time to look into. It's hard to actually say which one is the best. There's no real answer to that, but the three I picked out that we're going to go over in this video, for me, I was thinking of the popularity of them as far as how widely used they are, and even some of the versatility to them, where you can they're not just a one-dimensional indicator, where you can look at them and use a few different strategies or interpretations with these indicators of how price is going to react and move. So the first one here, we're just going to go over briefly with these three, is the stochastic. And of course, if you go up here, click on indicators, you type in stochastic, you'll see these show up. You can even have the stochastic RSI. I just have this one on my chart, and very simple settings. You can change the colors and so on and so forth. But here's just the default settings that you'll have when you go on TradingView and add it. And the reason I enjoy this one, well, one, it's got a few different things that you can use it for. You have the classic overbought and oversold areas with the 80 and the 20. Some will use 75, 25, or even 70 and 30. 80 and 20 are the levels I prefer. And with this one, unlike the RSI, this has the two moving averages, where you can also use for crosses to look for momentum or shifts to the downside or upside. And then of course you can use this great for divergence as well. Just for instance, just eyeballing some of this. Well, yes, this is a lower high. We can see this one was much steeper, so not quite a true divergence. However, look how much it pokes into the oversold. So oversold comes back up just about equal with this high, while this one doesn't quite get up there, but still pokes into the oversold again and starts its strong move down. And so that's just a quick, simple way to look at the stochastic, this oscillating indicator. And then here, this is more of a actual true divergence. See, it made a lower high here, whereas price made a higher high relative to the highs in the candles and the highs in the indicator. And of course, the first poke here goes into oversold, and then price is doing some fake outs, a couple wicks here, whereas the indicator, the stochastic, is saying, it is not that strong. It does not want to run up that high. It is actually just doing a fake out before continuing down. And so, and of course, as you look at both of these examples, the cross with the blue MA crossing below the orange also as an extra confirmation for downside movement. And so The stochastic is great for, these three different ways of looking at it with the crosses, the oversold, overbought, and even divergence with price. Now, the next one I want to point out and go over that is great, it's also an oscillator. All three of the ones I'm mentioning are oscillators, is the MACD. In other words, we can type it in, moving average convergence divergence indicator. So this is just the default settings I'm leaving on here. And this has multiple ways of also viewing price. You can also use it for divergence, like we just went over in the stochastic. This also has moving averages that are crossing. But what is great about this is the histogram is marking out momentum. Okay? So while this does not have the overbought, oversold, although you could maybe put some levels on here that you might be comfortable with to monitor where the moving averages go to. And of course, monitor the height of the histogram on the downside or the upside. But the momentum part of this indicator works incredible, especially with some of these moving average crosses. So for instance, not a true divergence, but we can spot how this went well above this high, whereas relative here, it barely pokes above it. As that's also happening, as it starts to show its hand to move down, we get the cross with the blue going below the orange. And as that's also happening, the histogram has now gone below the zero line, indicating downward momentum, right? So we could even look, as that's happening in here, we see a supply zone form, price breaks below, touches into it, and makes a sharp move down. And we could even repeat the process here. No divergence showing. However, as the momentum is skyrocketing up to the supply, we see it peak out, and then soon after, with this candle, they cross below again with the momentum now shifting below the zero line. Traces back up into the gap and continues to fall. And so that's just a very simple, brief way to interpret the MACD. I wanted to include this again because of the diversity in how you can use it with the crosses, the divergence. You can even use it for divergence with the histogram part. That's another strategy as well that some use. But the momentum aspect of it is extremely handy, as you can see when it crosses above or below the zero line, indicating momentum to that particular side, the downside or the upside. And lastly, of the indicators we're going to go over here, I have our indicator vault divergence solution panel. And this is, as far as multi-dimensional and multi-use indicator, this really is it. As great as the MACD or stochastic are when plotting divergence or momentum and whatnot, this kind of has it all in here. And so you can go into the settings and much more options to choose from as far as changing what you would like, figuring out your own strategy for whatever settings, to suit you best and your trading style best. It even includes the RSI, which you can get rid of that, have it on or off. You can change the different strategy options for how this, formulates, and obviously look backs and everything. And one of my favorite parts is, if you're in a bullish trend, for instance, like you are only wanting to look for buys, well, you can turn off all the bearish divergences that it will plot for you. And that's one of the main features of this indicator, is it will actually plot the divergence for you. You don't have to look through your charts and draw your own trend lines or draw your own markups to plot it. It will show up for you with this indicator. And to even just reduce the clutter, reduce the noise, you can hide what you want. So if you're in a bullish trend, just me personally, I would just have on the bullish divergences to give bullish signs, which would be the highest probability trades to take. Or if you want both, but maybe you just want regular divergence, we'll just have bullish, both of the bullishes on, the hidden and regular. So you just want those. Or just the hidden as well, something like that. So just different options of what you want on your chart. And of course, one of the best things of this is it will give signal ideas as well, with take profits and stop losses printed on your chart, both in both panels. And of course, it includes momentum aspect of the MACD. It's got the moving averages. So this is when you want an oscillating indicator where you can look for momentum, you can look for divergences, you can even have certain overbought, oversold zones like I mentioned in the MACD. You can do that as well for here. It has it all, not to mention it makes it so much easier to plot the divergences. For me personally, I like regular divergence. There's nothing wrong with hidden, but I like to just have the regular divergences showing on my chart, and so I can, hide that if I prefer to do that. And even, just to show the indicator settings one more time, I would encourage you to look, to make this as best as possible for, oscillators. Find what these settings work best for you. So for instance, the higher the number of this, the fewer crosses that you'll see. And of course, the lower number, the more you'll see. And so you may get some more false signals that way. But there's so many different ways. We have the two different EMAs you can use for that as well. And so not a whole lot of difference necessarily, but there is some difference. There may be ways that you prefer to view, the moving averages down here and how they plot the divergences. But that's kind of your all-in-one oscillating indicator here. And the one I wanted to end on, just for all of its uses and the conveniency of plotting all these for you. So that's some of the 3 best indicators you'll find on TradingView, and I hope this video was helpful, and until next time.